Matru Seva Sangh Sithabadi Nagpur is celebrating 100 years of selfless service, and on this special occasion, Matru Seva Sangh organized Centicon 2021 on 2nd and 3rd of October 2021, themed Birth and Beyond, in association with Nagpur Obstetrics and Gynecological Society, National Association of Reproductive and Child Health of India, Nagpur Chapter, Indira Gandhi Government Medical College, Nagpur, Academy of Pediatrics, Nagpur, and Indian Society of Anesthesiologists, Nagpur City Branch. The two-day program consisted of various activities related to workshop and CME. Day 1 workshop activity were basic life support skills in association with ISA Nagpur City Branch, basic neonatal resuscitation program in association with AOP Nagpur, postpartum hemorrhage in association with IGGMC Nagpur and NOGS, cesarean delivery in association with NARCHI Nagpur Chapter.
Senior pediatrician at Matru Seva Sangh Bardi, and he is the organizing secretary at this Matru Seva Sangh Centicon. And Dr. Praveen Dahake sir is a senior pediatrician at Nagpur. Now for the program of lightening of Samay, I invite Dr. Ratna Shekhavan ma'am. He is a senior most pediatrician, gynecologist at Matru Seva Sangh Bardi. Executive members Dr. Bhave ma'am, Rupa Jungare ma'am, and senior pediatrician at Matru Seva Sangh, Dr. Seema Pandey ma'am.
Nagpur. So today here we are present to learn the basics of neonatal resuscitation. In the delivery room and the baby is not crying, so it is our duty to that child. So here are today we have three trainers with us. Dr. Rishi Lodaya sir, who is a senior pediatrician, Dr. Sanjay Deshmukh sir, and teach us the basics of the neonatal resuscitation. Neonatal resuscitation from Dr. Sanjay Deshmukh. Thank you.
Prestigious project of NNF, we call National Neonatal Forum, that is NNF, and they have started this basic NRP neonatal resuscitation program, and the aim is, Dr. Pankaj has rightly said, you know more, out of 100 deliveries, 90% of the baby doesn't require any assistance when you are in the delivery room. But 10% of the baby require some assistance or some form of intervention so that we can prevent the complications of the newborn immediately after birth. And with this aim, NF has started this program, and the aim is to teach everyone, not only pediatricians, not only gynecologists, it's include the staff, IMI, ward boy, who is present in the first year of the neural care. In Matru Seva in Nagpur Metro, we are fortunate to put that group of the world trained staffs. But unfortunately, in peripheral area, if you ask me small piece of PSC, Primary Health Center, or some IMI, if she is doing the delivery, she should know what is the basic. If the baby doesn't cry, what we should do. And that is the only aim we are teaching this. And this is the things we should propagate this basic anatomy knowledge to each one of who are in contact with you. Suppose today we are 26. I request once you complete this course, you should tell your 10 nursing staff at least. Okay? So you have to tell them what is the basic. And with this end, we are conducting this workshop, and I am thankful to the manager of Matru Seva Sangh, and I wish them all the best to conduct more and more CMVs to train the staffs and all the paramedics in the Matru Seva Sangh. And today, as a chief researcher, I have fortunately have Dr. Praveen Dahane and Dr. Rishi Lodaya. They are the trainers for the NRP. Dr. Pankaj is also trainer, and Dr. Rizwan is also one of the part of this program. So thank you, and we will start program. Thank you.
मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ, अपन ने 3 वर्क स्टेशन रखे हुए हैं. मैंने उसको क्लासीफाई किया हुआ है A, B, C, और आपने जहाँ पे रजिस्टर किया हुआ है वहाँ पे सबको बताया गया है कि किसका कौन सा वर्क स्टेशन है. तो पार्टिसिपेंट ने सबने वो स्टेशन पे बैठ जाना है. हम लोग फिर 3 इंस्ट्रक्टर है, एक इस पे आ जाएंगे. आप लोगों को पार्टिसिपेंट को वहीं रुकना है. हम इंस्ट्रक्टर एक स्टेशन पे घूमेंगे. एक स्टेशन हो जाएगा तो हम लोग भी दूसरे स्टेशन पे आएंगे और वी विल कंटिन्यू. आपको उधर ही रहना है. तो जिसको जैसा जैसा वहाँ पे बताया गया है वहाँ पे वही स्टेशन पे सब्जेक्ट डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो सकते हैं.
होते हैं. सांस है तो जीव है और धड़कन है तो जान है. So to equip all the doctors and the accompanying nursing staff with the and the paramedical personals for the right skills to impart basic resuscitation measures, इस वर्कशॉप का आयोजन किया गया हुआ है. So going with the motive, every beat matters and every breath counts, presenting to you all the basic life support skills. Thank you.
Of Samai, which symbolizes spreading of knowledge. And to do the honors, I would like to call Dr. Pushpa Bhave, Medical Superintendent of Matru Seva Sangh, Dr. Saurabh Barde, President, Indian Society of Anesthesiologists, Nagpur City Branch, Mrs. Mamta Chinswadkar, Executive Committee Member of Matru Seva Sangh,
passion for selfless work in all spheres of life has truly been exemplary. The centenary of this esteemed institute is bringing young talents to the fore today. With the permission of Dr. Bhave and Mrs. Chincharwarkar, Dr. Rohatgi, the executive member, I would like to introduce the first speaker. President of the ISA City branch and a member of the Governing Council of Maharashtra State ISA, Dr. Saurabh Bardey had received great heights at an early age. He is a reviewer of the Indian Journal of Anesthesia and is very well known, especially in the academic circles. He is also the National Executive Committee member of the Academy of Regional Anesthesia and has a number of publications in national and international journals. An astute and meticulous anesthetist, he is going to enlighten us today on basic life support. Please welcome him with a round of applause.
I'll be speaking in different languages, English, Marathi, Hindi, सगळ्यात बोलणार, सगळ्यांना कळेल. मी डॉक्टर सौरभ बर्डे, प्रेसिडेंट इंडियन सोसायटी ऑफ एनेस्थेसियोलॉजिस्ट, नागपूर सिटी ब्रांच. बेसिक लाईफ सपोर्ट किंवा CPR, कार्डिओपल्मोनरी रिससिटेशन. This is our social, we consider this as our social responsibility, and we continuously keep on doing these programs all over India and at the national branch, and all of, from anywhere we get invitation from Nagpur, we go there and do this training program because we think that every person should be a lifesaver. So next 10-15 minutes or so, I'll be speaking on basic cardiac life support. इथे सगळे medical and paramedical लोक आहेत, त्याच्यामुळे I'll be speaking on basic cardiac life support. If we do not have, we have persons who have no connection with medical field, then we talk about compression only life support, which is called as COLS. So I'll be speaking on basic cardiac BCLS. I always quote this incident since last 3 months. Just see this video if it runs. If you can see, somebody is doing something here. Blue shirt wala, blue t-shirt wala. 3 months back, 3 mahine pehle, there was Euro Cup going on. This was a match between Denmark and Norway. Denmark midfielder Christian Eriksen, he collapsed on the ground. He had cardiac arrest. His captain, the blue t-shirt wala captain, goalkeeper, he started giving him CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, on the ground itself, and he was revived. He was revived and he was taken to hospital, got discharged from after 7 days. So I have started quoting this incident after this thing.
Patient had PPH, she will give you the false reading of normal blood pressure, but this is always misleading. So we have to take proper examination and proper history to see whether the patient was preeclamptic or not. Then we have to assess the blood loss. For this we must know what is the average blood loss. 500 cc is the average blood loss for a vaginal delivery, 1000 cc for cesarean section, and 1500 cc when there is cesarean hysterectomy. But what is the critical area which is very important is 2000 cc of blood loss, where we always underestimate this blood loss and we land up in trouble. And if we are trying to look for the signs of hypotension and tachycardia, the patient has already reached the stage of shock. So we should not wait for these signs to occur, we have to act early. So we have to do abdominal examination, and if you find the tone is lost, then you have to evacuate the content of the uterus. You have to evacuate the content so that the uterus should get retracted. And most of the times this atonicity prevents the diagnosis from other causes, whether there is laceration, tear, that we can't see. So unless and until we evacuate all the uterine content, we may not be able to find out other cause of PPH. Now we have to look for the placental status also. We have to examine the placenta whether it is removed completely or any bit or cotyledon is missing or there is any subcensurate lobe inside the uterine cavity. We have to do manual exploration if the placenta is not removed, and if it is removed also, then also we have to evacuate the retained blood clot from the uterine cavity. There is definitely there is a role of ultrasound in experienced hands. We can look for the retained products of conception and clots inside the uterine cavity. But in PPH, it is very, very important to manage the patient first than to do other ultrasonic findings. But ultrasound is very, very important in antenatal period to screen out the high-risk patient. If the patient is having placenta previa accreta, we have to be very vigilant in such patients and we have to be ready for PPH. So there are various factors which causes uterine atony. We have already seen the overdistension of uterus, uterine exhaustion because of prolonged labor or precipitate labor. The uterus may not retract. Then amniotic fluid infection. Then when there are presence of fibroid in the uterus, it causes distortion of the cavity and prevents retraction. And history of PPH and use of halothane as a general anesthetic drug. Then in precipitate labor, there are chances that patient may suffer from genital tract trauma. If he underwent operative or manipulative delivery, it can also cause cervical or vaginal tears. When the fetal head is malpositioned, it can also cause extension of episiotomy tear or extension of cesarean section incision, and previous uterine surgery which may cause uterine rupture. So there are factors which predispose to retained product of conception, that is when there is previous uterine surgery and morbid adhesions inside the uterine cavity, when there is high parity, abnormal placentation, when the placenta previa is implanted on the scar, when there is accessory placental lobe or placental abruption. These are the factors which predispose to RPOCs. Now we have abnormalities of coagulation. It can be pre-existing or it can be acquired in pregnancy. Pre-existing, we have to rule out whether there is a presence of hemophilia A or whether the patient is having ITP or history of liver disease or whether the patient is using any anticoagulants or not. And acquired, we can have thrombocytopenia in patients with preeclampsia or HELLP syndrome, DIC because of abruption, and chorioamnionitis and intrauterine fetal demise also causes acquired coagulopathy. Now coming to clinical methods. In clinical methods, we have to determine the blood loss, we have to check for blood pressure, and we have to note down the signs and symptoms. There are various degrees of shock, blood pressure, respiratory rate, and the patient may be having some dizziness or palpitation. And in severe cases, the patient has marked hypotension, patient can collapse, or detect the changes in blood pressure or heart rate. We should think that the patient has already lost 1/3 of her blood volume. So do not wait for hypotension to occur. Treat the PPH. ABO grouping and RH typing is must for each and every patient who is in clotting time always. It takes 4 hours for the hematocrit changes. Patient suffers from PPH. There will be the hematocrit will not show any changes within the blood loss causes only 3 volume% change in the hematocrit. On hematocrit, we need to assess the blood loss as such. As soon as there is PPH, the first organ to be affected is the renal perfusion, and hence we should always have a indwelling catheter in patient who is having excessive bleeding.
Needs to go in for something called as manual removal of placenta, and manually with a long glove that you need to wear. Pull with the left hand the cord, go along the cord, reach the margins, and with the slicing movements you are going to separate the and move with the other procedures. So it is just for the time being that we are applying the uterine spur vaginally, and we don't do a vaginal ligation as such of the uterines.
You just put a mixed start underneath the internal IVF and that is going to help you. So when you face an emergency, you will not have and the non-uterotomics like tranexamic, desmopressin, recombinant activated factor 7A. So we have never used it to mention in the literature, I have mentioned it. So oxytocin, we have routinely using since ages. Ages we are giving it IV or IM in dose of 5 to 10 units, can also give us the infusion of 20 to 40 units. Advantage, direct action on uterus contracts, then act within 2 to 3 minutes when given intravenously. Generally does not cause any side effects, but more expensive than ergometry and it needs to be refrigerated, which is not heat stable also. So that is more problem. Ergometry, dose is 0.2 to 0.4 milligrams, can be given IM or IV. Advantages is low price, effect lasts for 2 to 4 hours, and disadvantages is it takes 6 to 7 minutes to become effective in IM, and oral form is insufficiently effective, causes tetanic or continuous uterine contractions, which may increase the risk of retained placenta to be given earlier and in anticipation most of the time, and increased risk of hypertension, vomiting, headache, and contraindicated in hypertensive patient and heart disease, and not a heat stable. The third and most important is our misoprostol, which we are using very judiciously nowadays. It is onset of action is within 4 to 10 minutes, plasma concentration 60 falls by 60 minutes, returns to 0 by 40 minutes, and simple and fast administration to the patient. Absorption is good in passing all routes of administration. Fastest absorption is from oral or sublingual. And the longest is vaginal, but effect is more sustained. Smaller doses are therefore advised for vaginal use. Per rectal use is preferred for PTH management prevention by 600 to 800 micrograms. Routes of administration, you all know the most preferred route is per rectal use, then there is a PTH account. That is the best route for the administration. Advantage is safe and effective, easy to store, heat stable, and long shelf life and relatively inexpensive. And but side effects is shivering, nausea, fever, diarrhea sometimes, and contraindicated, though there is no contraindications where little, unless previously known allergic to this prostaglandins is there. The currently available uterotonics in India are this oxytocin, misoprostol, ergometry, and carboplatin. We are using this. They are having the safe. They are having good action. Onset of oxytocin is very fast. Ergometry is fast. Carboplatin is fast. But of course, with carboplatin you have to avoid bronchial asthma. With ergometry you have to have patient should not have a hypertension. So we have to be very sure what we are using. So concern with available uterotonic is very hard. Why we need a...
I don't think anybody has spoken about the Bakri balloon inflation. I don't whether it comes in surgical management or Oh, sorry. I think it is more heat stable, so it should be used because it controls atonic pH very well. Thank you very much, Dr. Kshama. At the Dr. Kshama, only single dose has to be given, na carbohydrate.
So, good anticipation, prevention, medical management, surgical management and prevention of cesarean, hysterectomy, saving the woman and saving the uterus. That should be the conclusion of this session. Thank you.
That the girls which are having high adipose tissue in childhood are prone to have PCOS in adolescence. After the menarche, we should not diagnose, and it will be over-diagnosis as a PCOS if immediately menarche, if you see some polycystic changes in the ovary. Acne and hirsutism is not the only criteria for the diagnosis. Acne unresponsive to topical treatment for hyperandrogenemia is also commonly seen.
Worried about her own face, so we have to consult that, and we can advise them to have some beauty problems. And obesity, when she is an obesity, she is going to have metabolic disorders in future. So we have to control her. So it is the lifetime management, as you said.
We are fortunate enough to have the first private milk bank of Nagpur. So today I'll just give a brief about it. Breastfeeding, it is a mother's gift to herself, her baby and to earth. Breastfeeding is natural. So as we can see, it is species specific. So cow's milk is for the cow, the zebra's milk is for the zebra's baby. It is species specific because it is designed as per the requirement of their baby. So the protein content, the electrolyte contents, everything is dependent on the species. So we cannot say कि गाय का दूध चलेगा क्या बच्चे को या भैंस का दूध चलेगा क्या. अगर अपने को देना है दूध बच्चे को तो it should only be mother's milk. Now what all options we have? We have human milk, formula milk and pasteurized donor human milk, which is available right now in Nagpur. So the best is direct breastfeeding, which is readily available for the baby. If not, then we can go for pasteurized donor human milk, which is again comparable to the mother's milk. There is hardly any difference between mother milk and pasteurized donor human milk. And formula milk, we know, as we all know, that there are a lot of disadvantages of using formula milk.
Friends, you all know that breast milk is gold standard for comparing all the things, formula feeds and everything. Pankaj has told that how it can be easily like a blood bank, a human milk bank can be easily set up in your hospital. He has told you details regarding that. But the concept of human milk bank is new to all. It was started way back 25 years back when baby-friendly initial hospitals were started. But after a few years, due to communicable diseases, it was again gone into a box, and then now again with better facilities it has come up.
Only to a microbiological screen, or are you testing for other antibodies? Because breast milk carries lot of these antibodies per se. So at the moment you are just doing the microbiological screening, you are pasteurizing and storing.
Yes, ma'am.
That is
yes, ma'am.
Diseases in the second decade like chickenpox, measles, hepatitis A, they are very severe and having severe mortality as compared to these diseases in the pediatric population. And the concept of having a chickenpox in the party for a pediatric patient has gone, because they used to say a chickenpox in first 5 years is so mild that everybody should get chickenpox in first 5 years. But that is not true. In the second decade onwards, you can have a significant mortality. So don't take these diseases very, you can say, mildly in the second decade, because it is associated with lot of mortality. If this kind of a big problem we are facing, let us see how best we can protect. The most effective intervention for last century is the vaccine, and vaccine has done a tremendous job by preventing millions of deaths in this world and millions of morbidity because of the vaccine preventable cases. What the IAP immunization says, it is not only the Tdap and HPV, but as a catch-up immunization, there are various vaccines which you should give. MMR, even the gynecologist should think whether the adolescent girl has received vaccine for protection against rubella. Don't give rubella, only vaccine. Think of giving 2 doses of MMR 4 weeks apart, giving protection against the mumps, measles and rubella, and you are protecting the girl not only against rubella but against these 2 important more diseases, mumps and measles. Then if the child has not received hepatitis B, give 3 doses 0, 1, 6 and protect against hepatitis B. The child will be automatically protected if the mother is protected or the adolescent girl is protected. If the child has not received, or the pregnant woman has not received the immunization at all, you can complete the 3-dose schedule, giving at least the first dose of Tdap, followed by TD at 1 month, and 6 months again give TD. Or a nonavalent vaccine will be available from next month, having 9 serotypes, apart from 6, 11, 16, 18, 5 more they have added. It will be available for next month. This is for those who are interested in this immunization schedule. All, including IAP, FOXI, ACOG, Royal College of Obstetricians, WHO SAGE Committee report has approved this 2-dose schedule, which is financially also viable because you have to give only 2 doses. So friends, the vaccine needs to be in the body before the virus enters into your body. It's a take-home message for all of us. Last slide. No vaccination dialogue can be complete without telling you the COVID, which is the most, you can say, discussed topic. And friends, the time will come most probably in next couple of months, all of us will be asked to vaccinate the adolescent, because the vaccine is going to come for the adolescent age group. At present, we have got these 3 vaccines: Pfizer mRNA vaccine, 2-dose schedule, either 021 or 028 intramuscularly, or you have Zycovid-D, which is the first Indian DNA vaccine approved for 3-dose schedule without an without a needle. This vaccine will be most probably available from 10th of October, and all of us will be asked to vaccinate adolescents. Third is Covaxin. The trials are going on, and we should be very proud that Nagpur is one of the cities for these Covaxin trials. So friends, Vaccine protects individuals and communities. Vaccination not only protects you, but the protects who are unprotected. So let us spread this knowledge to everybody. I want your support that every member of NOGS must take up this vaccine of HPV and Tdap and try to cover 100% population so that we will have a very healthy adult population having no risk of cervical cancer, no risk of tetanus, no risk of pertussis and so many things. Thank you very much.
Request, we are going to keep a timer. 14 minutes will be ringing the bell. Please don't feel bad. And then we'll have a minute for discussion because we are running very short of time, please. Thank you.
Dignitaries in the audience, respected chairpersons, dear friends and colleagues. It is indeed a matter of great honor and privilege for me to stand here today on the platform congratulating the great institute Matru Seva Sangh, which is celebrating its 100 years of yeoman's service not only to the mankind but to save motherhood as well. 100 years down the lane, this institute stands tall in rendering service to humanity, ensuring safe motherhood. Many institutes have come, they have established themselves, but today Matru Seva Sangh has still made a mark. I also bow in gratitude to these visionaries who 100 years ago envisioned this concept of safe motherhood, which today even we want to achieve for all our mothers. And I would fail in my duties if I don't acknowledge with gratitude the contribution made to my career in the beginning by great teachers Dr. Kusum Taiwankar, Dr. Asolkar Madam, Dr. Padmaja Risbut Madam, Dr. Ratna Shekhawat Madam, Dr. Rekha Jaiswal, and I also acknowledge presence of Lata Deshmukh Madam and Babulkar Madam in the audience. Because my teacher believed in me, I never gave up, and now I am flying towards my dreams.
I will only like to add one thing, that now sono endocrinology is coming into this since long time, and a number of hormonal estimations cannot be done if you do a good ultrasound and detect the AFC, and the AMH level can be detected by that. Even LH, FSH, androgen levels can be detected on the second day's baseline scan. Thank you.
Ganesh Embekar sir, who needs no introduction. Sir is the chairman of Infertility Committee AMOGS, executive member of Maharashtra SR, and has been a faculty at innumerable national level conferences. Sir is going to give us some insights on the role of hysterolaparoscopy in infertility. I request sir to please start.
My topic is fertility enhancing procedures in laparoscopy. At the outset, I would like to congratulate Matru Seva Sangh for completing 100 years. It's a landmark and a big achievement indeed. 100 वर्ष कुठली गोष्ट सातत्याने करणं हे गंमत नाही आहे, आणि सातत्याने करून त्याच्यात वाढ करणं, आणि हे मातृ सेवा संघाने करून दाखवलं आहे. कमलाताई हॉस्पिटलच्या मॅडमच्या नेतृत्वाखाली याची सुरुवात झाली, आणि आज अरुणाताई बाबुळकर आहेत, देशमुख मॅडम आहेत, शेखावत मॅडम आहेत, आणि सगळे बाकी सगळे बराडकर आहेत, सगळे लोक आहेत तिथे ज्यांनी खूप मेहनत घेतलेली आहे. तर त्यांचं सगळ्यांचं मी अभिनंदन करतो. सो hysterolaparoscopy is said to be a gold standard in the investigation of infertility. But is it true? We will get the answer to this question at the end of my talk, and it will be a logical answer. So let us discuss this hysterolaparoscopy in infertility. I bring greetings from Omega Hospital, Nagpur, along with my directors. Now, when and whom you offer investigation? Any patient who by definition is infertile will do investigations, or is at high risk of infertility we can do investigations. So laparoscopy can be done in any patient. Age and duration of marriage are the two things which are important, but they are not always important. So try to understand what I mean to say. Suppose a young lady comes to you, she is 23-year-old, married since 12 months, her hormonal assays are normal, there is no PCO, no hydrosalpinx, no PID, no dysmenorrhea, endometriosis ruled out, infection ruled out, PCO is not there. Now whenever we say laparoscopy, we always say hysterolaparoscopy. Now why do we say hysterolaparoscopy? Because hysteroscopy comes first and then comes the laparoscopy, and we do it together. Unless we do hysteroscopy, laparoscopy is never complete. Unless you do laparoscopy, hysteroscopy is never complete. It is skillful mind and ability to perform. And so once you enter inside the abdominal cavity, you have so many things to do. Sky is the limit. You can do wonders and wonders. So that is what is the message for today. Start doing laparoscopic surgeries, learn laparoscopy, which requires a long learning curve, and utilize it very smartly to improve the pregnancy rate. Thank you very much. Thank you, Matru Seva Sangha.
Thank you, Dr. Chaitanya Shembekar. It was a very nice and practical tips with lucid talk, and really you have given many tips. And I think this hysterolaparoscopy is basically it's the endo art. You know, art means admiring, rewarding technology. So it is a wonderful art, and you have given some important points. Like I would like to mention that in especially for the endometrioma, suppose the patient having low AMH, one should not remove the endometrioma. You can directly stimulate the patient and do your IVF. Secondly, the important wonder thing, that's a PRP. That has created really wonderful thing in coming up with the thin endometrium. So really I think it's a rewarding technology. Thank you very much.
Matru Seva Sangh goes back since my birth. चौरासिया मैडम कहाँ है? मैडम, मैं सूतिका ग्रह महाल की पैदाइश हूँ, और हाय मैडम, और मेरे पति अभी उन्होंने मुझे छोड़ा एंड ही सेड जरूर बताना कि मैं सूतिका ग्रह बर्डी की पैदाइश हूँ। तो आई सेड जरूर कि हम दोनों का नाता सूतिका ग्रह से सिंस बर्थ है। एंड दूसरा कॉन्टैक्ट वाज इन 87 व्हेन आई डिड हाउस पोस्ट एट मातृ सेवा संघ महाल, एंड चौरासिया मैडम वाज द होल एंड सोल medical officer or consultant, and we both of us managed the Matru Seva Sangh Mahal for 6 months. And madam, hats off to you. You gave me only 4 hours leave for Diwali Puja, and madam was so magnanimous that she was on call at my place for those 4 hours. Available in your armamentarium. RPL can be primary or secondary. Primary when she has never carried to a viability, and secondary if she has carried, she is having one previous live birth. Incidence is 15% of 15% women, they have recurrent pregnancy loss. Just 2% they suffer from 2 consecutive pregnancy losses, and 0.4 to 1% they suffer from 3 consecutive pregnancy losses.
Wonderful comprehensive talk. I would just like to add one point. We did not make any mention of the unexplained recurrent pregnancy loss due to immunological factors like uterine natural killer cells.
Yes.
So that is one thing which is very much upcoming. And when we don't find anything, start thinking of natural killer cells. They may be uterine, they may be peripheral. There are ways to check for it, and it is something, think of it. So thank you so much. I would like to thank Shekhawat madam. I have been a part of this institute for almost 1.5 years in 88-89, and as Lakshmi and Sadhna said, it has been wonderful. Shekhawat madam was there, Rekha Jaiswal madam was there, Parashar madam and Kutumbe madam. So it has been really, really wonderful to be a part here today. Thank you so much everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. And Madam is working actively as a medical superintendent at MSS Mahal. I request all the chairpersons to please occupy their seats.
outset, let me thank the scientific committee for giving me this opportunity to be here as a speaker. The topic of my presentation today is preventing medico-legal issues in clinical practice. Can dream become reality? Agenda for today, medico-legally relevant suggestions for general obstetric practice, suggestions during obstetric emergencies. Suggestion number 1, maintain a complete OPD record of every patient with yourself. You find it difficult? Then just have a look at these two cases. At 18 to 20 weeks, you have advised an anomaly scan. Patient didn't do it. Later, congenital anomaly was detected and allegation was anomaly scan was not advised. If a smart lawyer is there from the opposition party, he is not going to give your prescription which you had given to the patient in front of the court. Then the second case, patient of amenorrhea, you have advised urine pregnancy test, and if it is negative, then you are asking her to take progesterone for withdrawal. Patient took progesterone without doing urine pregnancy test. There is ruptured ectopic, allegation, progesterone without ruling out pregnancy. Friends, just remember, poor record or weak or no record is a weak defense in the court of law. That if the patient would have, or if you had your prescription of the copy of prescription of patients, then that would have proven the contributory negligence. First patient contributed by not doing sonography, second did by not doing urine pregnancy test. In case of complication, the patient is held partly or sometimes fully responsible for the cause of act. During her first visit, you should take history of the patient very properly. You should take, not your receptionist. You should take the history of patient very meticulously and just jot down each and every trimester. इस trimester में ये करना, इस trimester में ये करना, हे याच्यामध्ये करायचं. सगळं पहिल्याच विजिटमध्ये लिहून टाकला आणि तो फॉर्म तिथे लावून टाकला आणि त्याचा एक फोटो तुमच्या याच्यावर टाकला. Your responsibility at least halfway done. That you haven't forgotten, that you haven't told her कि 18-20 weeks ला तुला level 2 scan करायचा आहे. So again, there are printed format for pre-op investigations for many surgeries. There are information of each surgery or procedure which is available very easily on the net, and there are Foxy endorsed surgery specific consent.
Medico-legal tips, and really there has to be one scriber whenever there is any emergency. So the time taken when the doctor came, when the cannula is put, when the catheter is put, everything is been maintained. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alka Mukherjee ma'am.
It's a centenary celebrations for all of us. Today, this very hour, we as a country and around the world are facing one of the greatest crises that a human race has ever seen and experienced, COVID-19. A microscopic virus that has shifted the very foundation of our world. It has taken control of our lives and many souls lost their precious ones. Yet, we have stayed strong and have worked and still working hand in hand battling this deadly virus. So friends, let us be united, follow the norms and face this virus with the blessings of the Almighty. He is powerful and has the ability to touch the emotions of people, which brings us closer to Him. So friends, let's move one step closer to heaven above as we all partake in invoking His blessings on this occasion. Light and brightness have always been equated to positivity and motivation, with both seen as harbinger of good. Light symbolizes victory over darkness and defeat ignorance. It marks the beginning of auspicious moments and events. So, as a symbolic representation of dispelling the darkness of ignorance, let us have the lamp lighting ceremony, and may I request the esteemed gathering of eminent personalities and dignitaries amongst us to do the honors. Chief guest of today's function, Prajakta Lavangare Verma Ma'am, Divisional Commissioner, Nagpur Division. Guest of honor, Dr. Bhavna Sonavne, Dean IGGMC Nagpur. Dr. Aruna Babulkar ma'am, President Matru Seva Sangh, Dr. Lata Deshmukh ma'am, Secretary Matru Seva Sangh, Dr. Vaze ma'am, Convener of Centicon 2021, Dr. Pushpa Bhave ma'am, MS of Matru Seva Sangh, NOJS President Dr. Alka Mukherjee, Narchi Nagpur Chapter President Dr. Ujjwala Deshmukh, AOP Secretary Dr. Pankaj Agrawal, Dr. Shama Kredar, Associate Professor IGGMC, ISA NCP President Dr. Saurabh Barde, Dr. Ratna Shekhawat ma'am, Dr. Vaishali Baradkar, both organizing chairpersons, Dr. Rishi Lodaya and Dr. Kamini, organizing secretaries.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request Dr. Seema Pandey, ma'am.
A very good afternoon to all of you. Honorable Chief Guest, Mrs. Prajakta Lavangare Verma, Divisional Commissioner of Nagpur Division. Respected Guest of Honor, Dr. Bhavna Sonwane Madam, Dean IGGMC Nagpur, and all the dignitaries on and off the dais. A very warm welcome to you all at Matru Seva Sangh Centicon 2021. It is a bright day today. A bright day signifies energy, vitality, strength and hope. Similar bright day had dawned a century ago in 1921 on the auspicious occasion of Akshay Tritiya, when two child widows, Padma Shri Kamlatai Hospit and Venutai Nene, turned their passion and vision into a mission. They believed that if they can dream it, they can do it. Success and failure of dreams depends on the association one builds around us. As a part of the centenary celebration, when the idea of Centicon 2021 was conceived, senior gynecologist of Nagpur and our mentor, Dr. Nirmala Vaze ma'am, then Nagpur Obstetrics and Gynecological Society, National Association of Reproductive and Child Health of India, Nagpur Chapter, Indira Gandhi Government Medical College Nagpur, Association of Pediatrics Nagpur, and Indian Society of Anesthesiologists Nagpur City Branch came forward and supported us by their active participation, and we had successful workshops yesterday. So I welcome them all, Dr. Nirmala Vaze ma'am, the convener of Centicon 2021, Dr. Alka Mukherjee ma'am, President of NOGS, Dr. Ujjwala Deshmukh ma'am, President of Narchi Nagpur Chapter, Dr. Shama Kedar ma'am, Professor IGGMC, Dr. Pankaj Agrawal, Secretary Association of Pediatrics, then Dr. Saurabh Barde sir, President of ISA. I wholeheartedly welcome you all on this memorable occasion. Very few charitable organizations come this far and continue to do their human service to the society. And I am proud and privileged to stand before you and tell you that the concept of safe motherhood, World Health Organization WHO had proposed this in 1987, but this concept was imagined by these visionaries long back, even before our independence. So I feel proud to extend a warm welcome to all our eminent speakers and chairpersons who are with us in our celebration. This day was just not possible without the contribution of innumerable committed doctors who served here, keeping aside their commercial interests. Centicon 2021 is a tribute to all these selfless souls who have strengthened the organization in past 100 years. I have an immense pleasure in welcoming all the delegates. It's so wonderful to see you all here on this historic moment. Coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, but working together is success. Once again, I welcome you all.
The award of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Samaj Bhushan Puraskar from the Department of Social Welfare, Government of Maharashtra in 2018 and 19. So friends, I would like to take the privilege to request ma'am to please highlight the journey of MSS over these 100 years.
My tributes to Kamlate Hospital, Venutai Nene and Savitribai Mantange, the founder ladies of this organization. Mrs. Prajakta Lavangare Verma, Divisional Commissioner of Nagpur, and Dr. Sonone, Dean IGMC, our guest of honor, and all the dignitaries seated on dais. This is my proud privilege and also a very emotional moment for MSS to celebrate this day, observe this day. Because of COVID pandemic, we are just delayed by 2-3 months. But this organization was actually founded by Kamlate Hospital and Venutai Nene in 1921, 8th May. Now on 8th May, Akshaya Tritiya Day, it was established, and this year in 2021, 14th May, Akshaya Tritiya, it completes exactly 100 years. And this function, which was supposed to be held on Akshaya Tritiya, we have done virtually in presence of Honorable Minister of Roadways, Mr. Nitinji Gadkari. This is the first function we will be holding after COVID pandemic physically, and that is the great happiness and honor that all are together here, and we could see all these lady doctors, those who used to visit our premises. Now I'll switch over about the Matru Seva Sangh Institute. मातृ सेवा संघाच्या ज्या संस्थापिका आहे कमलाताई हॉस्पिटल आणि वेणुताई नेने, त्या बालविधवा होत्या आणि त्यांना डागा हॉस्पिटलमध्ये नर्सिंगचं ट्रेनिंग घेत असताना प्रकर्षाने असं लक्षात आलं की सुतिका जे आहे आपल्या भारतीय सुतिकांना जी वागणूक दिली जाते ती काही बरोबरीची नाही आहे, तिच्यामध्ये काहीतरी फरक आहे, त्यांना काही बॅड पेन नाही देत, वागणूक ठीक नाही आहे. म्हणून त्यांनी असं ठरवलं की आपण एक सुतिकागृह स्वतःचंच काढू, आणि म्हणून त्यांनी धंतोलीमध्ये 3 खाटांचा, पालीवाल समाजच्या तिकडे 2 खाटांचा किंवा मोदी नंबर 2-3 मध्ये 2-2 खाटांचे सुतिकागृह काढून वेळोवेळी जागा बदलत गेल्या, त्यांना जागा नव्हती मिळत, आणि त्या वेळेला त्या काळामध्ये कमलाताई हॉस्पिटल वेणुताई नेने यांनी हा जो स्वीकारला होता, चॅलेंज जो स्वीकारला होता, तो काही म्हणजे समाजात मोठा चांगला मानला जात नव्हता. लोक आपले घरं नव्हते देत, तरी त्यांना मिळत गेला गंगाबाई गोखलेंचा वाडा, आणि शेवटी 1946 मध्ये पंडित रविशंकर शुक्लाच्या मदतीने 2 एकर जमीन आम्हाला इथे मिळाली. आता त्यावेळेला नागपुरात जो बालमृत्यू होता त्याच्याबद्दल मी त्यांच्या ह्याच्यामध्ये दर हजारी नागपूरला 250 आणि अमेरिका इंग्लंडमध्ये फक्त 10 असा बालमृत्यू होता, आणि सुतिकांचा मृत्यू पण फार जास्त होता आपल्या देशामध्ये. एक वेळेला कस्तुरबा गांधी आल्या आणि त्यांनी बघितलं की कमलाताई हे काम इथे करीत आहे, तर त्यांचं कमेंट आहे कि मुझे बहुत खुशी हुई कि कमलाबाई हॉस्पिटल यहाँ पे सुतिका गृह खोल के और महिलाओं की सेवा कर रही है, जहाँ के किसी भी प्रकार का जातिवाद जातिभेद नहीं है. ह्या प्रकारे हे सुतिकागृह हळूहळू सुरू झाले. त्याच्यानंतर काय झालं की या दवाखान्यात प्रसूती करण्याकरता दाई ट्रेनिंग त्यांनी सुरू केलं. कारण काय, सुतिकागृह केल्यानंतर नर्सिंग ट्रेनिंगची फार आवश्यकता असते, नर्सिंगची गरज पडते. तर 1927 मध्ये महाल सुतिकागृह एस्टॅब्लिश झालं. त्याच नंतर त्यांनी एक नर्सिंग ट्रेनिंग उघडलं जे आतापर्यंत आहे. It is still there, madam, since 1920. We are training nurses. The name changes, dye training, nursing training, or otherwise it is called as revised RNM, revised auxiliary midwife nursery training, like that. आमच्या सुतिकागृहामध्ये जर आपण बघितलं तर मोफत सुतिका करत होता. मोफत आहे. 30 रुपयाची जर इन्कम असली तर त्याला 5 रुपये घेत असत. 30 ते 150 जर इन्कम असली तिच्या नवऱ्याची तर 7 रुपये घेत असत आणि 150च्या वर इन्कम असली तर 10 रुपये तिथे चार्ज लावत असत. अशा प्रकारचं कमलाताई हॉस्पिटल आणि वेणुताई नेगनेंनी सुतिकागृह जेव्हा सुरू केलं तेव्हा त्यांना बरेचसे चॅलेंजेस आले आणि ह्या चॅलेंजेसला करता करता आपण बघाल की आमच्या सुतिकागृहामध्ये आता सीताबर्डी सुतिकागृहाचा हा आपण वाढदिवस साजरा करतो. सीताबर्डी सुतिकागृहाचं बीजारोपण झालेलं आज हे मातृसेवा संघ म्हणून एवढी मोठी संस्था झालेली आहे आणि या संस्थेला आपण बघाल की बरेचसे पुरस्कार देण्यात आलेले आहे. पहिले मी आपल्याला हे दाखवते की आमची जी कार्यकारिणी आहे, पहिली कार्यकारिणी ही आहे. पहिली कार्यकारिणी हा बर्डीचा फोटो आहे मॅडम आणि ह्या बर्डीच्या फोटोत आपल्याला दिसतं की ह्या ज्या मध्ये दोघी उभ्या आहे पांढरे साडी घातलेली त्या आहे कमलाताई हॉस्पिटल वेणुताई नेने. आणि ह्याच्यानंतर जे काम सुरू झालं, नेक्स्ट स्लाइड दिखाई, तर आमच्या संस्थेला ॲज ए मातृसेवा संघ शासनाने व इतर संस्थांनी बरेचसे पुरस्कार दिले. त्याच्यात मी 2-3च वाचून दाखवते. दलित मित्र संस्था प्लॅटिनम जुबली एंडोमेंट पुरस्कार, विमलाताई तिरके पुरस्कार, आनंदीमाई पारितोषिक, दीनानाथ मंगेशकर पुरस्कार, डॉक्टर वानकर अवॉर्ड आणि त्याचबरोबर पुण्यश्लोक अहिल्याबाई होळकर अवॉर्ड, आनंदी गोपाळ जोशी अवॉर्ड आणि बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर पुरस्कार हा संस्थेला सुद्धा मिळालेला आहे. त्याचप्रकारे बरेचसे मोठे लोकांनी आमच्या संस्थेला भेट दिलेली आहे. त्याच्यामध्ये आहे लेट प्रेसिडेंट राजेंद्र प्रसाद, पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू, मिसेस इंदिरा गांधी, मोरारजी देसाई, डॉक्टर जाकीर हुसेन, विनोबा भावे, मिस्टर जत्ती आणि मग महाराष्ट्रातले चीफ मिनिस्टर वसंतराव नाईक, कॅबिनेट मिनिस्टर यशवंतराव चव्हाण, नीलम सज्जीवा रेड्डी असे बऱ्याचशा लोकांनी या संस्थेत येऊन कमलाताईंच्या कामाला फार जास्त ॲप्रिशिएट केलेलं आहे. त्याचप्रमाणे मी सांगते की आमच्या ज्या शाखा आहेत त्या बघा अशा शाखा 12 शाखा आहेत आणि त्यांचं एस्टॅब्लिशमेंट इयर जे बघाल महाल 1927 आणि त्याच्यानंतर शेवटची शाखा अकोला 1957ची आहे. त्याच्यावरून फक्त इतकंच आपण इन्फ्लुएन्स काढू शकतो की प्रत्येक शाखांनी आपला हीरक महोत्सव तर साजरा केलेलाच आहे, परंतु जबलपूर, महाल, ब्रह्मपुरी आणि बिलासपूर शाखेने आपला अमृत महोत्सव पण साजरा केलेला आहे. ते पण आमच्या मागे मागे आता 100 गाठतील. त्याच्या पुढचं जे आहे ते आमचे हे प्रोजेक्शन ॲक्टिव्हिटी. नाव दिस मातृसेवा संघ हॅज ग्रोन इन टू ए बिग बनियन ट्री. Apart from the maternity homes, 12 maternity homes in central India, we have got different projects. They are all in Nagpur. The 4 major projects are, he mentioned that Sitabardi Maternity Home, College of Social Work, Nandanvan School for Mentally Challenged, one is Panchvati Old Age Home, and other small activities are on my right side. तर असं हे मातृसेवा संघाचं जे एवढं मोठं ट्री झालेलं आहे त्याच्याबद्दल मी आपल्याला थोडक्यात हे सांगीन की आमच्याकडे कर्मचारी महिलांसाठी वसतिगृह वर्धेला, अकोल्याला, नागपूरला सगळीकडे आहे. आमचं एक मुखपत्र आहे त्याला मातृसेवा मासिक म्हणतो. त्याचप्रमाणे आम्ही स्नेहांगण रेसिडेन्शियल स्कूल फॉर दिव्यांग मुलांसाठी चालवतो, फिजिकली हँडिकॅप मुलांसाठी याच बिल्डिंगमध्ये मागे चालवतो. ती शाळा जी आहे तिचं ओरिजिन पण फार म्हणजे असं म्हणजे वी आर पायोनियर इन दॅट इन्स्टिट्यूट बिकॉज डॉक्टर विक्रम मारवा जे होते त्यांनी रिटायरमेंटनंतर मातृसेवा संघात 25 वर्ष पोलिओग्रस्त मुलांवरती फ्री ऑपरेशन्स केले आणि एका मुलावर 4-5 ऑपरेशन करताना काय झालं की त्या मुलांना शिक्षण हे खराब होत होतं त्यांचं. ते म्हणाले यांच्या शिक्षणाची सोय काय म्हणून त्यांनी तिथे ठेवून त्या वॉर्डमध्ये बेडसाईड टीचिंग चालू केली आणि त्या बेडसाईड टीचिंगमध्ये ते हळूहळू स्नेहांगण दिव्यांग मुलांची शाळामध्ये कन्वर्ट झालं आणि ती जी शाळा आहे आता त्याला गव्हर्नमेंटची शासनाचं अनुदानसुद्धा मिळतं. आणि डॉक्टर मारवा is one person and Padma Shri Kamlatai is another our founder. They have received Padma Shri from the Government of India. Then the projects, 4 projects I will talk, madam. Institute of Social Work, Bajajnagar is a major project. It is a college established in 1958 by Dr. Satyabala Tayal, who came at the age of 18 in the Bhunan movement with Vinoba Bhave and Kamlate Hospital, and she settled here and gave her life in the teaching and training of social work. Social Work College of this Bajajnagar, Matru Seva Sangh Institute of Bajajnagar, is giving education of BSW, MSW till PhD, and it is a pioneer institution in Central Vidarbha. Then later on other institution came up. Nandanvan School for Mentally Retarded Children is another unique thing which came out from Matru Seva Sangh only. It originated that Dr. Wankar, Kusumtai Wankar, our former president, and she served the Matru Seva Sangh for 60 years. 60 years. She thought why these children are autistic, why they have mental problems, why they are born like this. So then she went to America also, and that brought the concept of mental retardation, and this school is established in 1960. And then she studied and they started Nandanvan. नंदनवन मध्ये ते मुलं आणून ठेवत होते मतिमंद, आणि आज ती शाळा ती पण 60 वर्ष पूर्ण केलेली आहे. त्या शाळेला त्यांच्या म्हणजे त्या शाळेला पण 60 वर्ष पुरे झालेले आहे, आणि ही शाळा सुद्धा आमची म्हणजे फर्स्ट स्कूल इन सेंट्रल इंडिया. आता पुष्कळ मेंटली रिटार्डेड शाळा आहेत, पण आम्ही त्याच्यामध्ये पायोनियर केलेला आहे ह्या आमच्या जे सिनियर्स लोकांनी. पंचवटी वृद्धाश्रम ओल्ड एज होम, इट इज इन उमरेड रोड मॅडम. So that Panchvati Vridhashram established in 1960, कमलाताई हॉस्पिटल मदर त्यांनी असं म्हटलं की कागं ह्या ज्या साविका आहेत, ह्या सिस्टर्स आहेत, त्या आयुष्यभर तुझ्यासाठी काम करतात, शाखांमध्ये जाऊन काम करतात, आयुष्यभर त्या शाखांमध्येच ते म्हातारपण जातं त्यांचं सगळे ओल्ड. तर ह्यांचं काय करशील, ह्यांना कुठे ठेवशील, तर तू ह्यांच्यासाठी काय केलेलं आहे. तेव्हा कमलाताईंनी त्या राजाबाद चिटणवीसांच्या डोनेशनमध्ये 3 एकर जमीन त्यांना दिली त्यांनी चिटणवीसांनी. तर त्या दिघोरीला त्यांनी एक या बायकांना ठेवायसाठी जागा केली. तिथे अनाथ मुलं आणि या विधवा आणि इथल्या रिटायर्ड झालेल्या बायकांना ठेवायचं. दॅट गॉट कन्वर्टेड इनटू पंचवटी वृद्धाश्रम. नाव इट इज कॉल्ड एज पंचवटी वृद्धाश्रम. वी नेवर हॅड ए कन्सेप्ट ऑफ ओल्ड एज होम, बट नाव इट इज हॅव्हिंग अबाउट 40 to 50 senior citizen, female and male. So this I actually don't want to insist much, but I'll come back to the Sitabadi maternity home. This is a function for the Sitabadi maternity home. So Sitabadi maternity home, in whose premises actually we are sitting. As you know, it is established in 1921. आणि त्यावेळेला 1921 to 46 किती डॉक्टर, NB खरे, डॉक्टर गया प्रसाद, हे बघा पद्मावती थेरगावकर, दुर्गाबाई वझलवार, सुवतीबाई खरे, ह्या सगळ्या बायकांनी, लेडी डॉक्टर्सनी वेळोवेळी कमलाताईंना मदत केली. ह्या डॉक्टर्स लोक एक तर प्रायव्हेट असतील किंवा गव्हर्नमेंटमध्ये काम करत असतील, त्या लोकांनी जेव्हा जेव्हाही डिलेवरीवाली सुतिका अडली कमलाताईंना मदत केली. त्याच्यानंतर ते दुसरा लॉट आला, त्याच्यात कुसुमताई वानकर, डॉक्टर सोलकर, कमलाबाई जोशी, डॉक्टर मुंदडा, जे की आत्ता 9 सप्टेंबरला ही इज एक्सपायर्ड. ही स्टार्टेड विथ द ब्लड बैंक इन मातृ सेवा संघ. डॉक्टर मुंदडा वॉज द फर्स्ट पर्सन टू ओपन ए ब्लड बैंक इन नागपूर इन मातृ सेवा संघ, and he promoted blood donation. Dr. Taradhar, Dr. Rizwood, Dr. Vikram, I have already talked about Dr. Vikram Marwa. Then we have attached to teaching training programs like DAN, DGO, DCH, DRCO. So here Dr. Rohatgi, Dr. Vaze, Dr. Chhaya Sarode, Dr. Chaurasia, Dr. Shekhawat and Dr. Vaishali Varadkar. One more name here is missing, Dr. Rekha Jaiswal. She is not here, but she also was involved with the teaching and training of these lady doctors for different courses. From 90 onwards, we have a list of doctors who are in front of me were involved with the maternity home. Their list is Manmohan Daga, Dr. Chaurgade, Dr. Satish Dev Pujari, Dr. Bodhankar, Kiran Vaidya, Anjali Kher, many pediatricians, many anesthetists, gynecologists, and medicine like Girish Deshpande, many surgeons like that Sunil Lanjewar, Avinash Deshmukh and Shailendra Mundra. With me 25 years, I have seen them working with me. That's why I have mentioned the list. Then this is presently these doctors are serving Matru Seva Sangh. This is the list with Dr. Bhave and the team, Dr. Shekhawat and all. They are right now from different. They are pediatricians, they are anesthetists, they are OBGY. The facilities, like I am not going to read, we are doing maternity related all the activities for women and children. I want to insist is, now we want to go ahead, and we are going ahead, that because of with the time and all, we want to treat all the women related diseases right from the, not only the childbirth, delivery and cesarean section, but beyond that, whatever is happening after 35, menopausal, premenopausal, postmenopausal, whatever that may be, we are into that field. Right now we have received the equipments from JNPT Trust, in which we have purchased everything which is required to these lady doctors. We have got hysteroscope, colposcope, hydraulic OT table, and then defibrillator, anesthesia machine stations, and we have well equipped. आम्ही आपलं सुतिकागृह अद्ययावत केलेलं आहे. या सगळ्या डॉक्टरला मी फ्री ऑफर देते की आमच्या गाईडलाईनप्रमाणे, म्हणजे काय आमचे चार्जेस फार कमी आहे आणि ह्या लोकांचे चार्जेस फार जास्त आहे, खरं बोलायचं तर सगळ्यांच्या समोर. तर आमच्या रेटप्रमाणे आमच्या इथले जे मध्यम आणि खालच्या वर्गाच्या स्त्रियांना आपल्याला जर हेल्प करायची असेल आणि तर आपण इथे या. आणि ऑलरेडी डॉक्टर सान्याल हॅज जॉइंड अस. So if they want to do something like human services, open, Sitikagraha is always open and we welcome them. This is how. सध्या कोविडच्या काळामध्ये सीताबर्डी सुतिकागृहामध्ये आम्ही डेडिकेटेड कोविड हॉस्पिटल ठेवलेलं आहे, केलेलं आहे. परमिशन घेऊन इट इज वेल इक्विप्ड टू ट्रीट द पेशंट्स आणि कोविशिल्डची वॅक्सिन देणं सुरू आहे. शताब्दी वर्षात एक पावले पुढे टाकायचा. तर आमच्या मॅनेजमेंटनी हा निर्णय घेतला आहे की जेव्हा आपल्याजवळ सर्व काही सुविधा व्यवस्था आहे तर आपण स्त्रियां आणि पुरुषांकरता विदाउट डुईंग एनी जेंडर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन वी विल हॅव आंतररुग्ण विभाग फॉर मेल अँड फिमेल पेशंट्स हू नीड सम केअर अँड ऑल. आणि आता आमचा पुढचा टप्पा आहे IVF सेंटर उघडण्याबाबतचा, असा आमचा मानस आहे. डिजिटल मेमोग्राफी आणि सोनोमेमोग्राफीची सुविधा पण देण्याचा आमचा मानस आहे. आणि ही आमची जी आहे वर्किंग कमिटी सध्याची कार्यकारिणी आहे. अनावधानाने मी काही सुटलं असेल, पण मेनली आमची सीताबर्डी सुतिकागृहाच्या बाबतीत मला ह्या सगळं आपल्याला सांगायचं होतं मॅडम, की ह्याचा वाढदिवस आपण साजरा करतोय. ही संस्था नंतर मातृसेवा संघाच्या नावाने आता नागपुरात ओळखली जाते. पण जुने लोक आत्ताही म्हणतात की बर्डी सुतिकागृहात जा, महाल सुतिकागृहात जा. महालवाले समोरच्या लाईनमध्ये बसलेले आहे. महाल सुतिकागृह गावात आहे. कमलाताईंनी दोन्ही सुतिकागृह मॅनेज केले. तर कमलाताईंच्या स्मृतीला आणि वेणुताई नेनेंच्या स्मृतीला मी वंदन करते आणि आपली रजा घेते. थँक्यू व्हेरी मच फॉर गिविंग मी द एक्स्ट्रा टाइम.
Blessings of the pure souls who devoted their lives for this institution to grow. Thank you, ma'am. The greatest achievement of MSS this year is the successful execution of Centicon 2021. And as a remembrance of this event, MSS has come out with a souvenir. We would like to release a souvenir titled Shatabd. For this, may I request Pendhakar ma'am, Vice President of Matru Seva Sangh, and Vasanti Deshpande ma'am, Treasurer of Matru Seva Sangh, both committee members, to please come upstage for the release of the souvenir. I would like to invite Chief Guest Mrs. Prajakta Lavangare Verma ma'am and Guest of Honor Dr. Bhavna Sonkrose ma'am to please do the honors. And I also like to request Aruna ma'am and Lata ma'am to please join.
that we are starting this Club 35. We have already started, and it's a request to all the gynecologists and all the doctors and everybody to refer the ladies here, because we are doing the screening test under one roof, which includes all the important blood tests like thyroid, hemoglobin, blood sugar, lipid profile, etc., pap smear, colposcopy, and pelvic sonography and mammography unit. So the new digital mammography unit has been donated by Alka Foundation. So this is a sincere request to all and everybody. Thank you very much.
Dr. Pramila Solkar ma'am is a senior most obstetrician and gynecologist, served as consultant at Matru Seva Sangh Burdi, presently the executive member of MSS Burdi, ex-medical superintendent and president of MSS, past Foxy vice president, started the breastfeeding week celebration. She has been awarded the Mother of Millennium Award, and she brought the MCI recognized house jobs in MSS in 1980. I'd like to request the chief guest and President Aruna ma'am to felicitate her. Dr. Manjula Rohatgi ma'am, Senior Consultant Obstetrician and Gynecologist and Endoscopic and Microsurgeon, Director at Shonali Rohatgi Nursing Home. She is the past National President of NACHI 2010 to 2012. She has won multiple awards and has been Dr. Nirmala Vaze ma'am, Senior Consultant Obstetrician and Gynecologist of Nagpur. She has held the post of National President NACHI 2018-20. She is the consultant at Sankalp Hospital Nagpur and also a counselor breast and gynae cancer and menopause. She has held posts of National Vice President IMS, National President of NACHI, past President Nagpur Chapter NACHI, and Founder Secretary IMS Nagpur. She has multiple achievements. She has been the faculty of pelvic anatomy workshop at FIGO Vancouver 2015 and FIGO Rio de Janeiro 2018. I request chief guest ma'am to please felicitate Nirmala Vaze ma'am. Dr. Ratna Shekhawat ma'am, Chief Medical Officer at Matru Seva Sangh Sitabardi Nagpur, serving with her ever-caring attitude, punctuality and sincerity, best leader, very efficient administrator and empathetic doctor, always ahead in taking responsibility and working tirelessly for the institute. She has won multiple awards, one being Fellow Guide Award of Excellence in Gynecology in the year 2012 with Silver Trophy by NACHI and Dr. Health. She has been felicitated by IMA and Academy of Pediatrics for a commendable contribution and work in her field. Also felicitated by Indian Medical Association on the Doctor's Day in 2013 for women's services to the society. She is the one behind MSS Sitabardi bagging the prestigious Government of Maharashtra Anandibai Joshi Gaurav Puraskar in 2007. She is an inspiration for all of us. In one line, she is the backbone of Matru Seva Sangh Sitabardi. Dr. Tara Dhar ma'am, she passed her BAMS from Tarachand Ramnath Hospital, Pune, and she did MBBS in 1974, joined Matru Seva Sangh in 1962 and retired in 1994. She was instrumental in opening the Jaitala and Shiv Ganga branches of Matru Seva Sangh. She was the medical superintendent of Matru Seva Sangh also and has provided her relentless service for 32 years and more to Matru Seva Sangh. Dr. Chaya Chaurasia ma'am, she has been the Chief Medical Officer at Matru Seva Sangh Mahal, Nagpur since 1980. Director of Nagpur Test Tube Baby Center, active participation in RCH and family planning activities. I request Bhavna Sonavne ma'am to felicitate her. She has won awards from Maharashtra government in 1984 for family planning work. She is the fellow guide for CS Dawn ICMCH College for postgraduate. Received Sanman Patra at hands of Sri Manohar Joshi for work done in MCH. She has been the recipient of Anandibai Gopal Joshi Gaurav Puraskar in 2006 and has won the Lifetime Achievement Award from NACHI in September 2018. Teaching is the one profession that creates all other professions. The influence of teachers extends beyond classroom well into the future.
गुड आफ्टरनून एव्हरीवन. व्यासपीठावर उपस्थित माननीय कमिशनर मॅडम, बाबुळकर मॅडम, देशमुख मॅडम, शमा केदार, वजे मॅडम, या आणि बाकीच्या मान्यवरांना मी नमस्कार करते. आणि सर्वप्रथम कमलाताई आणि वेणुताई यांना वंदन करते. मातृसेवा संघाच्या शताब्दी समारोहाच्या या मंगल प्रसंगी अगदी सर्व पदाधिकाऱ्यांचे मी मनापासून अभिनंदन करते. मातृसेवा संघ ही मध्य भारतातील 1921 साली प्रस्थापित झालेली जुनी धर्मदाय संस्था आहे. 2 विद्वांनी एक मनात विचार आणला आणि याला एस्टॅब्लिश केलं. हे खूप पुण्याचं काम केलं असं मला वाटतं. या संस्थेचं कौतुक किती करावं शब्द नाहीत माझ्याजवळ. जसं मातृ म्हणजे आई आपल्या एकुलत्या एक मुलाचं संगोपन करते, तसं या संस्थेने अगदी मातेचं आणि मुलांचं संगोपन केलेलं आहे. आणि आज आपण बघतो आहे की एक रोपटं लावून आज त्याचा वटवृक्ष झालेला आहे. माता व बालकांच्या सेवा कार्यामध्ये अग्रगण्य असलेली संस्था पद्मश्री कमलाताई हॉस्पेट यांनी वेणुताई नेने यांच्यासोबत जेव्हा स्थापन केली तेव्हा मला असं वाटतं की गर्भवती महिलांच्या शुश्रूषेकरिता विदर्भात अतिशय कमी सुविधा उपलब्ध होत्या. या 100 वर्षाच्या कालावधीमध्ये मातृसेवा संघाने मॅटर्निटी होम, सोशल वर्क कॉलेज, मतिमंद मुलांच्या शाळा, वयोवृद्ध व्यक्तींसाठी आश्रम, वर्किंग वुमन्स हॉस्टेल्स, अनाथ मुलांसाठी आश्रम, कौटुंबिक सल्ला केंद्र इत्यादी उपक्रम यशस्वीरित्या राबविले आहेत. मला असं वाटतं की हे सर्व कार्य एक भारताचा उत्तम नागरिक घडवण्यास अग्रेसर वाटा उचलल्याचं मला या संस्थेने वाटतं आहे. या व्यतिरिक्त मातृसेवा संघाच्या शाखा महाराष्ट्रभर, मध्य प्रदेश व छत्तीसगड येथे पसरलेल्या आहेत. कालपासून आपण बघतोय की 2 तारखेपासून मातृसेवा संघ इथे सेंटिकॉन ही परिषद अतिशय उपक्रम चालू आहे. या कॉन्फरन्सच्या माध्यमातून स्त्रीरोग व बालरोगाशी संबंधित अनेक महत्त्वपूर्ण विषयावर चर्चासत्रांचे आयोजन केलेले होते. आज सकाळी पण इथे एक वर्कशॉप चालूच होतं. या सर्व सत्रांच्या माध्यमातून अद्ययावत माहिती देवाणघेवाण शक्य होऊन निरंतर अद्ययावत रुग्णसेवांचा प्रयत्न यशस्वी होणार आहे. या निमित्ताने मी सर्व ऑर्गनायझिंग डॉक्टर्सचे अभिनंदन करते. मी तुम्हा सर्व उपस्थित डॉक्टरांचा अनेक उपक्रम भविष्यात राबवण्याचे आवाहन करते व माझ्याकडून अनेक शुभेच्छा देते. आयोजकांनी मला 2 शब्द बोलण्याची संधी दिली त्याबद्दल धन्यवाद मानते व थांबते.
थँक्यू मॅम.
आजच्या या मातृसेवा संघाच्या शताब्दी वर्षाच्या निमित्ताने साजरा होणाऱ्या ह्या गोड कार्यक्रमासाठी उपस्थित IGMCच्या आमच्या डॉक्टर सोनावणे, तसंच या व्यासपीठावर उपस्थित असणाऱ्या मातृसेवा संघाचे अध्यक्षा, सहअध्यक्षा, त्याच्या सचिव, व्यासपीठावर उपस्थित असणारे मातृसेवा संघासाठी रात्रंदिवस परिश्रम करणारे असे सर्व मान्यवर, सर्व डॉक्टर बंधू भगिनींनो, मला इथे आल्यानंतर खरंच जाणवलं की मी ज्या कार्यक्रमासाठी आलेले आहे हा कार्यक्रम हा काही साधा कार्यक्रम नाही किंवा ही संस्था अशी एखादी संस्था नाही. जेव्हा माझ्याकडे डॉक्टर देशमुख आणि डॉक्टर वराडकर आल्या होत्या की तुम्ही या कार्यक्रमासाठी यावं, तेव्हा अवघ्या 2 मिनिटामध्ये मी हो म्हटलं होतं. परंतु इथे आल्यानंतर मला ॲक्च्युली ह्याची प्रचिती झाली की हा जो मातृसेवा संघ आहे ह्याची महानता, याची महती मला इथे आल्यानंतर कळाली. आणि जसं आता सचिव डॉक्टर देशमुख मला सांगत होत्या की मुंबई पुण्यातल्या लोकांना इथल्या नागपूरच्या मातृसेवा संघाबद्दल फारशी कल्पना नाही, त्यांना कल्पना द्यावी लागते. त्यामध्ये मला असं वाटतं की मी आता इथे विभागीय आयुक्त म्हणून येऊन 3 महिने झाले, परंतु मला इथे आल्यानंतर मातृसेवा संघाचं महत्त्व कळालं आणि जे काही अभूतपूर्व काम झालेलं आहे, सेल्फलेस सर्व्हिस जे म्हणतो आपण, त्याचं प्रत्यक्ष दर्शन मला ह्या कार्यक्रमामध्ये आल्यानंतर झालं. आणि मला असं वाटतं की आरोग्याकडे किंवा विशेष करून स्त्री आरोग्य आणि बाल आरोग्याकडे सुद्धा आपण जर पाहिलं तर तेवढंच दुर्लक्षित विषय असा असतो. आपण जर प्रसारमाध्यमाचे किंवा वर्तमानपत्र जर पाहिलं तर एखाद्या जागेवर जर एखादी इमारताचे जरी भूमिपूजन होत असेल तरी त्याचा मोठा फोटो येतो, किंवा एखादा मोठा ब्रिज बांधला असेल, मेट्रो होत असेल तर त्याच्याबद्दल खूप चर्चा होते. परंतु स्त्री आरोग्याबद्दल किंवा बाल आरोग्याबद्दलची समाजामध्ये त्याची चर्चा ही अगदी डॉक्टरांपुढे पुरतं सीमित होताना आपल्याला पाहायला मिळते. आणि कोविडच्या ह्या अनुभवानंतर खरंच आपण आरोग्याकडे किती दुर्लक्ष झालं हे सुद्धा आपल्याला सर्वांनाच जाणवलं. म्हणजे आपण जो काही बजेट आरोग्यासाठी केंद्र शासन ठरवून द्यायचा किंवा राज्य शासनसुद्धा द्यायचा, आणि कोविडमध्ये जी काही प्रगती झाली, म्हणजे जे काही दर्जा सुधारला आपण म्हणायला पाहिजे आमच्या सर्व आरोग्य केंद्रांचा. एका प्रेस कॉन्फरन्समध्ये मला एक प्रश्न विचारला गेला की आता कोविडच्या पार्श्वभूमीवर तुम्ही सर्व एवढे मोठे ऑक्सिजन प्लांट बांधताय, तुम्ही एवढं व्हेंटिलेटर्स आणले, एवढे बेड्स आणले, तर तुम्हाला वाटत नाही का की हे वेस्ट आहे, उद्या जर कोविड नंतर पुढे काय होणार ह्याचं? तर मी त्यांना म्हटलं आपण आत्मचिंतन केलं पाहिजे की 20-25 वर्ष झाली आपण आरोग्याचा जो विभाग जेव्हा आपण पाहतो तेव्हा त्याला जो मिळणारा बजेट आहे हा जर आपण पाहिला आणि बजेट म्हणजे तरतूद केल्यानंतर मग किती पैसा येतो ह्याचा जर आपण विचार केला तर हा एक मोठा बॅकलॉग निर्माण झालेला आहे. आणि कोविडमध्ये आपण हा बॅकलॉग दूर केलेला आहे. काय आपण अतिरिक्त काहीच केलेलं नाही आहे. जे आपण करू शकलो नाही 20-25 वर्षाचा डेफिसिट आहे, तो डेफिसिट आता कोविडमुळे आपल्याला भरून काढावं लागतो आहे, कारण आपण ह्याच्याकडे लक्ष दिलं नाही. प्राथमिक आरोग्य केंद्राचा दर्जा सुधारणं किंवा रेफरल सिस्टम वाढवणं, या सर्व गोष्टींकडे कुठेही आपण बजेटच्या अभावी किंवा ह्या विषयावर असणारं दुर्लक्षाच्या अभावी आपण ह्याच्यावर काम करू शकलो नाही. आणि कोविडच्या या जागतिक समस्येमध्ये आपल्याला आरोग्य हे किती महत्त्वाचं आहे हे सर्वांनाच समजलं. कारण हे प्रत्येकाच्या घरी ना काही जातपात, ना काही श्रीमंती गरिबी पाहत कोविडने खरं तर सर्वांवरच हल्ला केलेला आहे. हा केवळ एका गटापुरता सीमित न राहता प्रत्येकाच्या घरी हा आजार येत होता. म्हणजे आपण म्हणू तर एक फार मोठा लेव्हलर म्हणून आपण कोविडला पाहायला पाहिजे. त्याने कुठलंही डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, जसं माणूस डिस्क्रिमिनेट करतो तसं कोविडनी केलं नाही. आणि म्हणूनच सर्वजण खडबडून जागे झाले की आरोग्य हा विषय तेवढाच महत्त्वाचा आहे. आणि मला आनंद होत आहे की स्त्री आरोग्य, बाल आरोग्य ह्याच्याबद्दल पद्मश्री कमलाताईंनी फार पूर्वी एक स्त्री म्हणून आणि एक बाल विधवा म्हणून तिने विचार केला. अवघ्या 15व्या वर्षी तिच्या मनामध्ये असा विचार येणं आणि तो विचार मग पूर्णत्वाला नेणं. कारण सावित्रीबाई फुले किंवा कमलाताई ह्यांनी काही कमी अडचणी अनुभवल्या नसतील तरीसुद्धा त्याच्यावर मात करत आपला विचार हा किती महत्त्वाचा आहे. म्हणजे 100 वर्षापूर्वी हा विचार आणणं आणि तो राबवणं. आपण आतासुद्धा जेव्हा आपण प्रशासक म्हणून काम करत असतो आणि आपण एखादा विचार जर मांडला जो वेगळा असेल तरीसुद्धा आपल्याला आजूबाजूच्या प्रतिक्रिया आपण पाहून आपण थोडा विचार करायला लागतो की मी बरोबर करत आहे की नाही. परंतु त्या कालावधीमध्ये या 2 बालविधवांनी त्याचा विचार केला आणि एक संस्थाच्या स्वरूपामध्ये एक मोठी देणगी ही समाजाला दिली आणि ह्या बेरार प्रॉव्हिन्सेसमध्ये हा विचार त्यांनी रुजवला आणि त्याच्यामुळे जे हा जो दुर्लक्षित विषय होता, म्हणजे जी काही पायपीट होत होती या गरोदर स्त्रियांची, ह्याच्यासाठी त्यांनी, आणि जसं आता त्यांनी सांगितलं की कोणतीही जातपात न पाहता, जेव्हा त्या काळामध्ये जातपात हा किती मोठा विषय होता, तेव्हासुद्धा त्यांनी कुठलाही असा मनात विचार न आणता, कारण स्त्री ही स्त्री असते आणि आईसुद्धा, आईला कोणती जात नसते, त्यामुळे असा विचार करून त्यांनी हा विषय पुढे आणला. ह्याच्याबद्दल जसं डॉक्टर सोनावणे म्हणाले की आपल्याला शब्द सुचणार नाहीत, अशा प्रकारचं त्यांनी काम त्यांच्या आयुष्यभरात त्यांनी केलं. आणि मला आनंद होत आहे की ह्या संस्थेला पुढे सुद्धा वाढवण्याचं काम या कार्यकारिणी समितीने आणि पुढच्या सर्वच टॉर्च बेरर्स आपण म्हणायला पाहिजे अशा सर्व महिलांनी ह्या कामाला पुढे नेलं. आणि खूप दानशूर व्यक्तींनी सुद्धा आपल्या सर्वांना मदत करून या ज्या काय आपण संस्था केल्या, ओल्ड एज होम म्हणा किंवा मेंटली रिटार्डेड चिल्ड्रनसाठी तुम्ही बालगृह केलं, या सर्वांसाठी त्यांनी योगदान दिलं. दानशूर व्यक्तींनी आपल्याला जागा दिली आणि आपण या सर्वांच्याच मदतीने, कारण या सर्व मोठ्या गोष्टींसाठी समाजाची देखील मदत लागत असते, तर त्या मदतीचा हातसुद्धा आपल्या सर्वांना मिळाला. आणि म्हणूनच ही एक एवढी मोठी संस्था आजही 100 वर्षानंतर अजूनही फळत आहे, म्हणजे आणखीन वाढत आहे. मला आवर्जून सांगावं वाटतं की माझी आई ही एक परिचारिका होती आणि तेव्हा भगवती हॉस्पिटलमध्ये, म्युन्सिपल हॉस्पिटलमध्ये आई कामाला होती, तेव्हा मिडवाईफचा कोर्स होता आणि ती गायनॅक वॉर्डमध्येच काम करत असायची. आणि मी तेव्हा बरीच मिस्चिवस आणि नॉटी असल्यामुळे मला आई कधी कधी हॉस्पिटलला सुद्धा घेऊन जायची आणि मी तेव्हा प्रत्यक्षामध्ये परिचारिकेचं धावपळ आणि त्याच्या कामामधली जी काही डेडिकेशन आहे ते पाहिलेलं आहे. म्हणूनच मला ह्या संस्थेमध्ये सुद्धा यायची एक इच्छा होती की पण इतक्या मोठ्या प्रमाणामध्ये आपण काम करत आहात आणि अगदी इकॉनॉमिकली वीकर सेक्शन, दुर्बल घटकांसाठी अजूनही, कारण आता समाज झपाट्याने बदलत आहे, विचार बदलत आहेत. कोविडमध्ये आपल्याला खूप पाहायला मिळालं की पेशंट्स आणि डॉक्टरांमधला जो एक संबंध आहे तो टिकवण्यासाठी, म्हणजे आपण जो म्हणतो की जो विश्वास आहे, तो विश्वाससुद्धा कधीकधी परीक्षा त्या विश्वासाची पण या कोविडच्या पार्श्वभूमीवर झालेली आपल्याला पाहायला मिळते. पण आपणही अजूनही तो विश्वास कायम ठेवलेला आहे आणि दुर्बल घटकांसाठी हे दारं उघडी आहेत. आपण मोफत आरोग्य शिबिरं घेत असता. अर्ली डिटेक्शनवर आपण बोललात की आपण अशा प्रकारचे जे एड्स किंवा सिकल सेलसारखे काही प्रश्न असतील त्याचं अर्ली डिटेक्शन करता. मला आठवतं आहे की मी जेव्हा मुख्य कार्यकारी अधिकारी होते अहमदनगरला, तेव्हा आरोग्य विभाग हा माझ्याकडे होता. पण मी असा निर्णय घेतला होता, कारण आमच्याकडे जेव्हा ते गटविकास अधिकारी असतात आणि आरोग्य अधिकारी असतात, तेव्हा मी गटविकास अधिकाऱ्याला म्हणायचे की तुम्ही या गटाचा, ब्लॉकचे प्रमुख आहात आणि त्यामुळे तुम्हाला आरोग्याकडे पाहावंच लागेल. हा केवळ आरोग्य अधिकाऱ्याचा विषय आहे असं न पाहता गटविकास अधिकाऱ्यांनी देखील ह्याकडे पाहायला पाहिजे. आणि ही मला असं वाटतं सुरुवात होती, कारण असा विचार करणंसुद्धा आणि त्यांच्यामध्ये ते रुजवणं हे सुद्धा महत्त्वाचं होतं. आणि मग आम्हीसुद्धा अर्ली डिटेक्शनकडे खूप लक्ष दिलं. जसं ANC केअरमध्ये 16 आठवड्यामध्ये ती डिटेक्ट झाली पाहिजे, आणि म्हणजे गरोदर स्त्री जर 16 आठवड्यामध्ये डिटेक्ट झाली तर मग तिला आपल्याला सगळे ट्रीटमेंट्स आणि सर्व जे काही आपल्याला इम्युनायझेशन्स करायचे असतात किंवा जे आपल्याला सर्व्हिसेस द्यायचे असतात त्या सर्व आपण देऊ शकतो. तसंच फॉलिक ॲसिडच्या टॅब्लेट घेण्यामधलं प्रमाणसुद्धा ग्रामीण भागामध्ये खूप कमी होतं. आणि एक मेडिकल ऑफिसर्सना मी नेहमी म्हणायचे की तुमचं काम आहे की केवळ गोळ्या देणं नाही, तर त्या मधले जे काही गोळ्या ह्या घेत नसतील तर त्याच्यामागचे त्यांचे जे काही गैरसमज असतील ते सुद्धा दूर करण्याचं तुमचं काम आहे. आणि बरेचसे गैरसमज हे ग्रामीण भागामधल्या महिलांमध्ये असतं, कारण त्यांना हे कोणी सांगत नाही की हे जर फॉलिक ॲसिडसारखं टॅब्लेट घेतल्यामुळे आपल्याला पुढच्या मुलांचं व्यंगत्व हे कमी होणार असेल तर आपण हे घेतलं पाहिजे. अशा प्रकारचं विचार आणि अशा प्रकारचं प्रबोधन देखील मेडिकल ऑफिसर्सने केलं पाहिजे. अशा प्रकारचा रोल हा आपण सर्वांनीच, प्रशासक म्हणून काय आणि डॉक्टर म्हणून काय, आपण सर्व करत असतो, पण एक प्रशासक म्हणून अर्ली डिटेक्शन, प्रिव्हेन्शन आणि आरोग्याकडे केवळ आरोग्याचा विषय नाही तर हा पूर्ण विभागाचा, म्हणजे पूर्ण संस्थेचा विषय आहे. कारण शासनामध्ये आपण खूप 100 कामं करत असतो, बांधकामही करत असतो, कधी आपण आरोग्याकडे तर बघत असतोच, परंतु बाकीचेही इमर्जन्सी कामं असतात. पण त्यातल्या त्यात ही आरोग्य हा असा विषय आहे की शाश्वत आहे आणि त्याच्यावर जर आपण आत्ता काम केलं तर एक 50 वर्षानंतर त्याचं फळ आपल्या सर्वांना पाहायला मिळणार आहे. आणि ग्रामीण भागातली स्त्री ही स्वतःही आपल्या स्वतःच्या आरोग्याबद्दल बऱ्याचदा त्याला एक लास्ट प्रायोरिटी म्हणून बघत असते. आणि सर्वात जास्त तिचे जे काही तिच्या मुलांना जर काही काही आजार असेल तर तीच प्राथमिक आरोग्य केंद्राकडे 4-5 तास 6-7 तास उभं राहून ती आपल्या प्राथमिक आरोग्य केंद्रात पोहोचण्याचा प्रयत्न करत असते. म्हणजे आरोग्याशी संबंध हा स्त्रियांशी खूप जवळचा संबंध आहे आणि म्हणूनच आपल्या ग्रामीण भागातल्या स्त्रियांना देखील या आरोग्याच्या बाबतीमध्ये त्याचं महत्त्व समजून सांगणं हे सुद्धा प्रशासक म्हणून आमचं काम आहे, असं आम्ही देखील त्याच्याकडे पाहिलं पाहिजे. हा झाला आमच्या प्रशासक म्हणून. आणि दुसरा म्हणजे मला असं वाटतं की मातृसेवा संघासारखी जे काही चांगल्या संस्था आहेत ज्या जिल्ह्यामध्ये ग्रामीण भागामध्ये शहरामध्ये काम करत आहेत या संस्थांना खऱ्या अर्थाने ओळखणं आणि त्यांच्याबरोबर एक समन्वय साधून जे काही आपले प्रश्न आहेत आरोग्याचे स्त्रियांचे, प्रशासनसुद्धा स्त्रियांच्या आरोग्यासाठी खूप काही योजना राबवतं आणि मातृसेवा संघासारखे संघसुद्धा या संस्थासुद्धा स्त्रियांच्या आरोग्यासाठी खूप काम करत असतात. ह्याचा जर समन्वय झाला ह्याच्यामध्ये जेव्हा जेव्हा मातृसेवा संघाला कोणतीही मदत लागली तर एक प्रशासक म्हणून, एक विभागीय आयुक्त म्हणून, एक स्त्री विभागीय आयुक्त म्हणून नक्कीच माझी मदत राहील असं मी या निमित्ताने आश्वासन देईन. आणि मला असं वाटतं की आपल्याला खूप मदत मिळालेली आहे. आपल्याला आपल्या कामाची एवढी ओळख आहे की आपल्याकडे देणारे हात ही काही कमी नाही आहेत, कारण लोकांनी ओळखलेलं आहे. आणि मला असं वाटतं की जेव्हा समाज खऱ्या अर्थाने चांगल्या कामाला ओळखतं, आपण म्हणतो की आपले लोक देणगी देत नाहीत किंवा जर आपण बाकीच्या पाश्चात्य देशांच्या तुलनेमध्ये आपल्याकडे असं पाहायला मिळतं की खूप कमी लोक दान करतात. पण कोविडच्या पार्श्वभूमीवर मी म्हणते की असं खरं नाही आहे. जर लोकांना पटलं की ही संस्था खरंच जेन्युइन आहे, ही खरंच ऑथेंटिक आहे, ह्याच्यामध्ये आपण जर पैसा दिला तर त्याचा योग्य विनियोग होईल. तसं आता नैना फाउंडेशनने आपल्या आईवडिलांच्या स्मृतिप्रित्यर्थ त्यांनी आपल्याला हे डिजिटल मॅमोग्राफीचं दान केलेलं आहे. तर अशा प्रकारच्या खूप संस्था आहेत ज्या अशा चांगल्या संस्थांना मदत करण्यासाठी नेहमीच उत्सुक असतात. आणि हे एक जिवंत समाजाचं एक प्रतीक आहे. जेव्हा एका समाजामध्ये अशा चांगल्या संस्थांना, चांगल्या व्यक्तींना मदत होत राहते, तरच हा समाजाचा जिवंतपणा हा टिकतो. आणि समाजाचा जिवंतपणा जिथे टिकतो तिथे प्रशासनसुद्धा मोठ्या प्रमाणामध्ये काम करण्यास प्रवृत्त होत असते. तर पुन्हा एकदा मी मातृसेवा संघाच्या या शताब्दी वर्षासाठी त्यांचं मनापासून अभिनंदन करते. खूप मोठं माइलस्टोन मी असं म्हणेन हे त्यांनी सगळ्या स्त्रियांनी एकत्र येऊन पूर्ण केलेलं आहे. पुढेही त्यांना असंच काम करण्याची प्रेरणा स्वामींनी द्यावी. आणि प्रशासक म्हणून मी त्यांना नक्कीच आश्वासन देईन की मी ह्या विभागामध्ये असल्यामुळे आपण जेव्हा काही आपल्याला कोणतीही मदत लागली किंवा कोणत्याही आपल्या कामामध्ये आमचं योगदान लागलं तर प्रशासन नेहमीच आपल्या सोबत आहे. आणि आपण सर्वांना अशाच प्रकारे अशा स्त्रियांना सर्वांना आपण अशा प्रकारे प्रेरणा देत राहावं असं मी आपल्याला सदिच्छा देऊन माझे 2 शब्द थांबवते. धन्यवाद.
Then again it starts rising up. So if you happen to do tests quite early hours in the morning, you will likely pick up more number of subclinical hypothyroid individuals. So keep in mind this circadian rhythm, but you can order the test at any point of the day. Can I take my other medications? If the patient is taking commonly in obstetric practice the iron and the calcium or some PPIs, antacids and all, now there has to be a spacing of minimum 4 to 6 hours. Because not only that these drugs reduce the absorption of the thyroxine, they also cause binding and interference in the further action of these hormones. So a spacing of 4 to 6 hours is absolutely essential.
Every woman is at risk of developing a mental disorder during the pregnancy. But as all you know, beside this, what are the risk factors? Poverty. Matru Seva Sangh is dealing with the downtrodden strata of the society mainly. The migration. People get transferred, they get migrated, they lose the contact with their near and dear ones. Extreme stress. Corona is one of the extreme stressful period which we have endured and going to end. Exposure to violence, domestic, sexual and gender-based. emergency and conflict creating situations. Low social support generally increases the risk of all the psychiatric problems.
कमलाताई, सकाळपासून तुम्ही खूप ऐकलाय. मी त्यांना नुसतं वाचण्यातच आणि ऐकण्यातच पाहिलंय. 15 वर्षाची कोवळी मुलगी, दुनियादारी संसार लग्न करायच्या आधीच बालविधवा होते. पण तरी सुद्धा त्यावेळच्या सती, केशवपन, सोळोळ या सगळ्या अरिष्ट रूढी जुगारून देऊन बंडाने पुढे उभी राहते. स्वतःच्या पायावर उभं राहण्यासाठी डफरीन नर्सिंग कॉलेज जॉईन करते. अतिशय सेवाभावाने नर्सिंगचा धर्म खऱ्या अर्थाने सांभाळते. एका भारतीय स्त्रीला बेडपॅन दिल्याबद्दल एका ब्रिटिश मेट्रनकडून छापी खाते. एरिया ऑफ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, वर्णद्वेषाचा काळ तो. पण मुळू रडत न बसता किंवा खचून न जाता ही बाई पुन्हा एकदा ध्येयाने पेटून उठते आणि मनाशी चंग बांधते की माझ्या भारतातल्या प्रत्येक मातेला निर्विवादपणे सेवा मिळालीच पाहिजे. आणि तिथून सुरुवात होतो एक अखंड धगधगता यज्ञ. मग सुरू होतात भेटीगाठी, प्रतिष्ठितांशी बोलणी, त्यांना समजावून सांगणं आणि मिळते एक भाड्याची खोली महालात चिटणीस वाड्यामध्ये. तिथे सुरू होतं हे पहिलं 4 खाटांचं पहिलं सुतिकागृह. दॅट वॉज द फर्स्ट ऑनर इन द हिस्ट्री फॉर द सेक ऑफ मदरहुड. आणि तो सोनियाचा दिवस होता 8 मे 1921, अक्षय तृतीया. A day of sacrifice according to our rich culture. What a noble sacrifice for the sake of motherhood. Don't you think so? And this was the team. Venutai Nene, Kamlatai Hospet, Dr. Kamlakar, Lakshmitai Gadge, Kelkar and Kokle and so many. खरोखर खांद्याला खांदा उभं राहून लढणाऱ्या ह्या मैत्रिणींना परत एकदा मानाचा मुजरा. No wonder Kamlatai got all these prestigious awards and honors. Nalwa Medal for Excellence in Nursing, Padma Shri by Government of India for her social service, Jamnalal Bajaj Award, and so many awards. Friends, today we are celebrating 100 years. आधी बीज एकले, आज त्याचा वटवृक्ष झालेला आहे. आज आपण 100 वर्ष सेलिब्रेट करतोय. यालाच म्हणतात प्रोग्रेस ऑफ मेडिसिन, which is my topic of oration today. There are so many ladies who have contributed to the progress of medicine in a different way. Today I am going to talk about 2 such another ladies who have contributed in progress of medicine in 2 absolutely different ways and different manners. So my oration starts here. One cell, 2 stories, progress of medicine. Friends, in every conference there are learned speakers. Somebody talks about recent advances, somebody talk about surgical interventions, somebody talk about new drugs. But unfortunately, many of us are forgetting a good technique of storytelling, which is an edgeless technique of imparting and disseminating the knowledge. So today I'm going to tell you 2 stories. I'm going to tell you the story which revolves around an absolutely simple, mundane, unpretentious cell, cervical cell. My both stories will revolve around the cervical cell. My first story is a story of a Loretta Pleasant, born on August 1920, same era, 100 years back.
Chairpersons.
Now I request
on MTP Act, what we should all know. Now, as practicing gynecologists, we are very much known and concerned with this topic, right? MTP Act, we all know what it is. We've been listening and we've been talking and we've been practicing since so many years. But here I'm just going to tell you a few things as to what we need to do in our practice. So we all know that this MTP Act, it governs the provisions of abortions in India. This act allows termination up to 20 weeks. This is what I am talking till the amendment has come. Further we'll talk more. It also offers protection to a practitioner. We say whenever we do an MTP in good faith, you are always protected by the umbrella, right? So this is what the protection it offers to all our practitioners. This act was amended in December 2002. I'll tell you what the amendment was later on. And recently we all know we got the recent Amendment Bill 2020 passed, and the act came on just recently, 24th of September 21. Now this MTP Act is a development process. We all know that it is called as an MTP Act or a PCPNDT Act, and we have regulations and we have rules, and we don't know anything. We just say it is rules, regulations and act. Let me just tell you something. MTP Act is something which is passed by both the houses of parliament, and it has to receive an assent from the president. What are the salient features of the act? This act decides under what conditions a pregnancy can be terminated, who can terminate the pregnancy, and what are the places where pregnancy can be terminated. And then there are the rules. Now who forms the rules? The rules are formed by the central government, and this comes in an official gazette. What are the salient features of the rules? A district level committee is formed at all the district level, which decides the approval of places and what are the equipments which are required, and also what should be the training and experience of the RMB.
Endometriosis is an entity which has been there in the past, is there now, and will be there in the future, but has undergone a whole lot of changes in terms of patient profile, in terms of the disease and the management. So when we were in MBBS, we were taught that endometriosis was a disease of the West. But does this hold true today? Absolutely not. We are seeing patients every single day in OPD. At least 26 million Indian women between the ages of 18 to 35 are affected with endometriosis.
One more thing I would like to stress upon when you are operating or treating a patient with endometriosis. Endometriosis is something that is not going to go away from the patient till the time she has ovaries.
So the topic given to me was approach to a breast lump. My sincere thanks to all the organizers, though I am one of them, but still all the organizers, and thanks to Vaishali and Dr. Shekhawat for choosing such good topics that at the fag end of the day still half of the hall is full. Well, this is a common day practice because I keep on writing many articles in the paper, and I do a lot of awareness programs, camps, and of course personal message I pass on to all my friends and colleagues. Have you checked your breast? If there is a family history, then do self-breast examination almost every month for a lady who is still menstruating 8 days after she finishes her menstruation, and for a lady who has reached menopause, she has to choose one day in a month and put it in the calendar. We are old-fashioned, so we put it in the calendar. But nowadays, when the patient comes, you know, when you ask them LMP, आपको last period कब हो गया? Madam ठहरो मैं mobile में देखती हूँ. Because we are used to put it in the calendar, and the younger generation is used to put it in the mobile. So this is a common complaint from the patient that doctor, I think I have a lump. So whether there is a thickness, whether there is an abscess, or there is a small boil, she feels it's a lump and she wants you to get it sorted out.
After all the clinical feast that you all had from morning, now let us go a little paraclinical, but of course it has a very important clinical angle too. I would like to thank Dr. Deshmukh Madam, Dr. Shekhawat, Dr. Vaishali Varadkar and Vaze Madam for giving me this opportunity to interact with you all on this topic. Friends, any talk on gynec cytology is incomplete without paying tribute to the father of cytopathology, that is George Nicholas Papanicolaou. He was born in a small coastal town of Kaimi, and the young couple shifted to New York in 1913. and where they started their endocrinologic studies using cellular samples from the vagina of the guinea pigs. Later on, they started getting samples from the women, and this is how they stumbled upon cancer cells, not that they were looking for it, they detected it serendipitously. The woman behind this man was his wife, Andromache Mavrogianni, who was a long-time assistant in his laboratory. The painstaking research of this scientist couple brought them a lot of awards and accolades, but the highest honor came in when the scientific community at large decided to name cervicovaginal cytology as the Pap smear.
Routine and desirable investigations will depend upon the age, comorbidities, and depending upon the medico-legal implications of a particular surgical case, what we are doing. A team care approach to work with the allied specialties with reference to comorbidities is a must while assessing these patients. So which preoperative tests or investigations are needed, or whether they are really needed at all? Yes, they are needed because they will give you additional information. What we have gathered from history and physical examination, it will give you us lot many information. It will try to give us risk assessment of the patient. We can establish a baseline measurement for these patients which can be used later for reference of the post-operative test results. We have to allow it will allow us to the patients and the clinical management to be done in a better way. These tests reduce the possible harm and predict the post-operative complications, and also help us make an informed decision regarding the surgery.
I request the seniors Varadkar ma'am, Vaze ma'am to felicitate.
But it has been downplayed, underplayed, and been bullied by the new kid on the block, that is IVF and the other advancements. So, my today's topic would be IUI, old news or OG. OG meaning the original gangster. That is the person who has been there for a very long time, a mobster, a gangster, bullying everything in the field of fertility management. So here's a short.
You are one of those Gen Zs. You might not know me, just go and ask your daddy. Don't forget us because of the 20s. In the 90s, we were the OG. We were the OG.
So as I mentioned, IUI, the OG. So let us take a brief look at the history. In 1678, Anthony von Leeuwenhoek described these sperms as living animalcules. In the 70s, that is the 1770s, John Hunter was the one who documented that artificial insemination can be practically used for managing fertility issues. In the 40s and 50s, Guttmacher, Stutton and Coburg showed that artificial insemination can be definitely practically used. In the 1950s, Dr. Sherman showed that these sperms can be frozen and can be used at a later date for insemination. And then came the big breakthrough, the big bang of fertility management. Dr. Robert Edward and Patrick Steptoe in 1978 delivered the first IVF baby, Louis Brown.
The first trimester screening is a new thing that is being done. I think 30 years ago, there was nothing like NT scan, double marker test, all those things were not there. So these things have been brought into existence through multiple researches which have been conducted under Professor Kypros Nikolaidis. He is the father of fetal medicine, the branch which it's a new budding branch. And he was the pioneer of screening of chromosomal and structural abnormalities in the first trimester. And also he was the one to introduce the model of inverted pyramid of care. Initially, the kind of care that we used to give to the antenatal female was, we used to check her at 12 weeks, 16 weeks, and as her pregnancy increased in gestation, the number of visits increased. But he brought this concept that maximum thorough checkup of the patient should be done in the first trimester itself. So what do we do if the NT scan shows the raised NT? First of all, NT is a measurement of CRL, and we need to understand that our increased NT is NT above the 95th centile for that CRL. So this is CRL. Now you can see at 45 mm of CRL, the 95th centile is 2.2, somewhere around 2.2.